Welcome to the TVMusic Network Podcast with Phyllis and Belinda. I'm Belinda.
And I'm Phyllis.
And today we're going to talk about award shows.
Yes.
There's been a lot of award shows. We're going to focus on two that just happened this past week.
Yeah.
We have the Tony Awards.
Right.
That was in New York. And we have the BET Awards that was held in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
so
it was kind of overwhelming because they were two back-to-back, very ones that we are involved with every year, we watch every year, and we get attached to, and that we like to talk about. So it was kind of interesting that they're back-to-back, but we're going to try to put it all in one podcast.
Yeah, they normally are back-to-back. They normally are, well, a lot of things have been changing in the past. Normally it's the Tony Awards, which is usually this weekend, and there's a gap, and then at the very end of June is usually BET weekend.
Right.
And there, but this time BET was moved up. It was moved to a Monday night.
Yeah.
And so now the shows are back to back. So
back to back
in the middle of hot June.
Yeah, and, in the middle of Emmy campaigning June, FYCs, all kinds of events. There's things going on. So hey.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So we're gonna talk about them. So let's start right with the Tonys.
Yes. It was great. Cynthia Erivo hosted this year, and she came from she had a really good year, really good couple years. So it was really nice to see her return to like her roots, where she started from, and to host the show.
Yeah. Let's talk about Cynthia. Start off right with Cynthia.
Yeah, I thought
she was great.
I did too.
I thought she was great. I thought she was refreshing.
Yeah.
I thought it was different. They've had the same host for the past 3 years.
Oh, yeah, they had Ariana DeBose for the past 3 years. And that can be kind of tiring, awkward. So it was nice to have something new and to have someone who's a little bit more familiar than with everybody.
Yeah, okay, well.
No, because I'm saying Ariana is mostly a Tony person, and she was around for the one movie. Cynthia's had commercial movies recently. She's done TV with, what was the show? Poker Face. She's on that. Then Wicked was one of the biggest movies in the world. And the Broadway's bigger, so there's a lot more attention to her name than it was with Ariana. Not to say that Ariana wasn't a great host or a worthy host. I'm saying it was nice to have Cynthia come.
I thought we needed a change. I thought 3 years.
Yeah.
By the third year, I was over it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do against her.
Right.
I just think sometimes, I don't know, maybe I judge hosts probably differently. Everybody has their own opinion when they think of hosts. When I look for a host, I look for someone who's going to come get the show started.
Right.
Get the show started. Keep it moving. Don't make it about themselves.
Yeah. Make it charismatic. You got to be funny, too.
It's not about you. And then disappear.
Right.
For a little bit.
Right.
So we don't have to sit, and then come back and close the show out.
Right.
Normally, there's been more shows lately where they haven't had a host. And to me, it's worked out smooth. Because sometimes the host makes it too much about themselves.
Yeah, and then all they need is someone to open the show and someone to close the show, pretty much, right?
And I stopped by last year. I was just like, oh, I hope we get a different host, and we did. And I thought this is going to be great. Let's see how it worked. I thought she was good. I thought she was funny.
Right.
I thought she was likable.
Yes.
I thought she didn't make it all about herself.
Right. And I think that she was charismatic with the audience and talking and stuff and things that were funny. That you wouldn't expect it from her, which I thought were really good. Go ahead.
Yeah. And that's the thing I think I liked about it. I mean, they usually start off with the opening number.
Yeah, and she did.
And they start with the closing number. And she came back with a couple of skits in between.
Right.
But it was just enough. It wasn't to the point.
Yeah, it wasn't too much. It wasn't weird.
It wasn't to the point where you were like, okay, we get back to the show. Because one of the issues, I shouldn't say issues because it sounds like it's an issue. Let me rephrase that. One of the things with the awards is that you don't get to see everything on air.
Right.
There is what you call a pre-show at almost every award show.
Yeah.
There's a pre-show where guests are there and they televise categories.
Well, Tonys did theirs
before you see the live show.
So it's called Tony Awards Act 1.
They call it Act 1, yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of award shows are doing it these days. A lot of awards are doing it, and some awards are just like, you know what, we're not doing it. We're just going to put out the list.
Yeah, put out the list.
Based on the
Or
RSVPs.
we'll tell a few people at the at the carpet, during TikTok, or doing whatever on social media, and it's like, oh, good grief. Do we really need that?
People aren't going to do all that. To me, I think you just need either do that show that you can watch in advance, and during the commercial breaks when you have people come out and they just go, and ceremonies earlier today, and show little
I
clips
don't mind that.
They didn't do that this year.
No, they didn't.
Now, they done that in past years,
right,
where they showed you a little bit.
Right.
Like, they had, like, a Lifetime Achievement Award, you know, and it's like a Lifetime Achievement Award, to me, should always be done on air. It shouldn't be done in a pre-show. It shouldn't be done whatever.
I agree with that.
If you are going to do it, show clips.
Yeah.
And there was no clips.
Yeah, like 2 minutes of what happened and be done.
And I not watched part of the pre-show rushing to get home to watch the Tonys.
Yeah.
I would have known and seen that. And that's always my thing. But I think, so sometimes you're wondering where that is, but you see this host doing like 18 numbers. And like, and you could have cut one of those.
Well, they did. They had Brian Stokes Mitchell as the announcer, and he's a big Broadway guy. Everybody knows him. He's really popular in the world of Broadway. And he did say that if somebody won in that Act 1 podcast, he didn't, the telecast, he did mention it. So that's something, I guess.
So he did mention it when they were coming on. Okay.
Yeah, he did mention it when they were coming on, or somebody went up or something. And one of the things that I think, though, that in the Act 1 podcast, most of the people that won in that opening act, that first hour, were also nominees or winners during the CBS broadcast.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay.
Yeah, which I think was great.
It's always, we call them the below the line categories. You always have.
Yeah.
But in that thing's a little bit different, because when you do a below the line, like in a Emmys or in a music thing, or like those are like categories you usually don't really know the people.
Right.
Like the best makeup and the best costumes.
Right.
You normally, I should say normally. I'm saying normally, like the average.
In the past.
Right. Most people don't know who they are. They are familiar with them. They want to see the stars. They want to see the celebrities. They want to see the above the line people.
Right.
They want to see those people. But I felt with the Tonys, it was a little bit of a shift, because some of the categories I felt like could have been on the main telecast, but that might be just me.
Yeah, well, I think the choreography probably could have been on the main telecast, but it was on the opening act.
The main category last year. I thought it was on the main show.
They might have changed it around a little bit. I don't know.
But that's what I thought. But I thought Cynthia was great. One thing
I thought she was great too.
Was kind of funny when she did her opening number and she did the original song.
And she had Oprah there.
And she did her own routine. She talked about it. One of the things I liked that she said ahead of time, that she went and watched all the movies, the plays, and the musicals that were nominated, so she can be more familiar with it. I like that.
Right.
I like that she had the time to do it. Usually you bring hosts in and they're like off a movie or off a show.
Yeah, exactly.
And she literally had things blocked off.
Yeah.
Literally blocked off her calendar. Because if you looked at what happened in the past year, she was available at every single event for the Oscar campaign. And usually that's unusually unheard of. Because usually the time you start an award campaign, you're off to your next project already. So you have to kind of juggle everything around. I don't know what she did, but she was available.
Yeah, she did good.
And she had that time off with the Tonys, and she went and did all the research and stuff, and now she's getting ready to, to do some stuff.
Yeah, she's got an album out with new music, and she's got the Wicked for Good, the second part of Wicked coming out again.
Yeah, part of it, because they split the movie up in two. Maybe that's why. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I like one of the things I will point out really early. She said early on that if you go, she named the house rules and said, number 1, you have 90 seconds.
Oh,
number 2,
for the speeches.
She made the comment that if you go over your time, she's going to start singing you off. And she says, don't mess with me. I've been known to cast a spell.
That was funny,
So they always say what's going to happen. The guy at the the guy at the cave's going to, pull you off with the Apollo.
Yeah.
They're going to start playing. They're going to start cutting you
and
off.
She did that.
It happens all the time. They always have a gimmick about how long you should speak, because it's a live telecast and you want to go over. You don't want to go over your time. And it was just running pretty smooth. And then I forgot the lady's name who was up there winning. She won for supporting actress.
Kara Young that won for the play.
And she was giving her speech.
Purpose.
And she started to run over, and all of a sudden, the tape started. It wasn't Cynthia, it was actually a tape, right?
Yeah, it was a little recording of her.
The recording started, and I just cracked up so much because she
it was very funny,
it,
right?
And you weren't expecting it. You weren't expecting it, and it just came with the right amount of time to break the ice. And she did it for a second,
right?
And she stopped, and that was your cue to go. And I think, that was your cue That was your cue.
To wrap it up because they said 90 seconds.
They said 90 seconds.
The thing that just kind of always gets me, and I say this to you all the time, it's like it's Tony. It's like a career achievement. Yeah. They've been working so hard for it, and they have to wrap all that thanks up in 90 seconds. I always think that's so hard, but people seem to do it, and people seem not to do it. And I always feel like give them, 2 minutes.
Give them 2 minutes.
Give them a full time.
My thing, give them
cut out 1-2 of those things.
I say it all the time. Give them 1 to 2 minutes and let them speak. Mm-hmm. Let them speak. I know. I used to all the time when I used to watch Roger and Ebert. They would always say, I think it was Ebert that would say that he whether have them. Or was it Richard Roper?
Thank the people who worked for them.
Thank people who worked with them.
Talk about working on the project.
People, and it's like, you don't know their lawyer, their publicist, their so-and-so, their so-and-so, whatever else, too. And I remember Steven Soderbergh won an Oscar. But for Crash, he won. And he got up there and he said, and I want to thank, the studio, so after he goes in a bunch of people that I'm going to thank personally. Right. Because he was like, but they get up there and they're nervous.
Some people do that. Yeah, they're all excited.
I always like when they speak from the heart and don't have a sheet of paper and don't have a note and don't have a cell phone. And then you don't want to forget anybody. There's been actors that forget their husband at the Oscars and all that.
You always say that. You don't like when they bring the phones.
I just like them to say it from the heart. It's like, it's an award. You're shocked,
I think they don't want to mess it
up.
If
you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award where you know you're going to get it, then you have your speech. It's on the teleprompter and you read. I just think as actors, people in the field, they should know how to just do it from heart. I say that.
Girl, they're doing 8 shows a week. They're memorizing 2 hours of thing. They don't have time, or they're too excited to think about doing a 90-second speech. So I'm okay with that. I give them that.
That's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me, and I see it in a lot of award shows, but I do admit at the Tonys, I noticed only a few of them had on their phones. They had it on and they said it. Right. Everybody else seemed to have done it from the heart.
Yeah.
And why is that? Is it because they're used to acting on stage live?
I think so.
Days a week, or is it because of the energy of their? I think it is. I think it's because the Tony Awards you're performing live.
Right.
You're doing that show live 8 shows a week.
Right. That's
probably why they're more used to it. They're more memorized. That's forever, as opposed to your award show person that's a singer,
right,
or your actor who did some movie 9 months ago. That's probably why.
You never know. It could be why.
Nicole did have her phone, but she explained it. She said she had it because it was...
Nicole Scherzinger, who won Best Actress in a Musical for Sunset Boulevard.
She did it in a way that she like, put it down a little. Like she put it down a little instead of going, okay, here you go, blah, 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 blah. One guy did pull out a sheet of paper or pull out his phone because he goes, I don't want to forget this part. And he did it. And he did it like it was fun. He did it personal. I say that now.
Yeah.
But I say that, but I'm not in that situation. But sometimes they're thinking they're a lawyer. They're thinking it's like, I don't know all these people's names. I go back and forth on that. That might just be me. Mm-hmm. The average person watching at home is probably either happy you won, or not happy you won, or just waiting for the next thing to go on. People
I'm happy personally. Reasons, it's great. I think.
But like I said, we may be really into this. But I asked my friends who are on the Broadway. I asked them who they rooting for, what they see this year, what they want to see. I think the whole purpose of the Tonys to me is, what do I want to go see? If I'm in New York,
and
what do I want to go see?
Every year I think that I see. There's like 3 or 4 where I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. I had no idea that it was going on Broadway because I haven't had a chance to get to New York this year and see any of these, which I think is great. One thing I did want to quickly mention, now, not trying to get off the subject, at least I hope I'm not, is that on PBS, right now, you can check your local listings. They have the Tony-nominated play from Daniel Day Kim, Yellowface. That's playing on there now if you check your local listing. So that way, if you can't get to New York, if you can't get to Broadway, there's at least one play that you can see if you check your local listings from there. And it's very funny, it's very good. And he was nominated for Best Lead Actor in a Play.
He's nominated, And that's a good thing to mention, too, because I know a lot of people said something about, I don't really watch the Tonys because it's not like I'm going to get to New York.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's been so many shows. We started seeing shows in Chicago, where we're from. Every major publication, every major play, a musical,
comes to
Chicago.
They travel, right.
So you could see it, and now they're all traveling. Now
and
you can see San Francisco, you can see La Jolla, you can see San Diego, you can see Las Vegas. There's right here in Hollywood.
Yeah, there's a couple of Long Beach.
We have Adobe. There's one in Long Beach.
Yeah, we have the Almonds.
There's also the Secrets are down in Orange County. So they made it in the LA area very, very wide for you to see shows. Chicago's always been a big one for us.
Right.
So every single one. I shouldn't say every single
one.
And
they encourage people to check their local listings. Their local theaters.
Local theaters,
yeah. Keep it going
other
as much
areas,
as you can.
There's all kind of musicals out there. There's all kind of musicals out there. You're seeing like chorus line in this city and chorus line in that city. And then and also then you have all the high school and college productions. There's always the production of Legally Blonde in this college and so in that college.
Yeah. So sometimes to the point where it can be overwhelming with all the ones that there are. You're like, oh my God, I see it, but where's it playing? It's playing at La Moretta High School. It's on. I'm just saying that. But in general, there's a lot of things. If you like live theater, there's a lot of opportunities.
And I really, really like what PBS is doing. I love what they're doing. I love that you're seeing them. I love that they're showing different ones because everybody can't get to the theater.
Yeah. And support PBS.
Don't have theater
right now with all the things that are going on right now. Support PBS.
Theater near them. If people doesn't have, some people don't have the money to go to all these things. Some people don't have
exactly. You got a budget sometimes.
Some people don't have rush tickets, and some people don't have last minute. All these tickets are going to pop up at this price, or there's going to have comps, or it's going to be contests. So there's a lot going on. But I really like what PBS is doing, and I really like what they're showing. And was there anyone this year? This year, I was looking forward to seeing what Darren Criss was going to do.
And he did really well. He won.
Because I'm a big Darren Criss fan.
Yeah, let me get it out. He won for best actor in a musical for Maybe Happy Ending, which I thought was really good. And that musical that he's in won like 6 Tonys altogether, including that, and he was one of the producers on it as well.
Yeah,
so I thought that was really good. Congratulations to him. Very happy
today that he was the first Asian actor to win. People don't know he's half Filipino, but,
which is a shame.
That he was the first Asian actor to win in that lead category, which is such a shame.
Yeah. But good for him. Hopefully he won't be the last.
I like the speech. I like the way he did it. I like the way he presented himself. He had it ready to go, but he felt like, I don't want to forget this one. I don't want to forget that one. And he put the foam out, but he gently said his speech and everything.
Right.
And I thought it was great. I was very happy for him. I didn't know he was going to win.
Yeah.
I was hoping he would win.
Right.
Because I remember all the press he was doing when he was going to move to New York and do this thing and whatever.
Yeah. And he had a lot of good competition. He was up against Jonathan Groff for playing Just in Time. He was up with that James Mort Inglewood, who was for that Louis Armstrong musical. There were a couple of people that he was up against that was really great. That he
I want to see that.
So congratulations to him.
I don't know if I'm going to see that anywhere else but New York, but I definitely want to see that Louis Armstrong.
Do you want to talk about in some of the other winners?
But that's just me.
Nicole Scherzinger?
Yeah, Nicole. I remember seeing Nicole. I remember reading somewhere. Somebody said they had saw it. It was opening night. Somebody saw it. They made a post. That's someone I follow. Made a post and they said she is going to win a Tony.
Good for her.
You see that the first day, you go, okay, there's 1,000 movies, 1,000 word plays, music come out, and somebody said that's how good she is.
Good for her
in this, and I haven't seen her. I've only seen clips of it. She's a beautiful performance.
And I liked that during that performance that she did at the Tonys, Glenn Close, who was one of the original Broadway people for Sunset Boulevard, helped introduce her, and Andrew Lloyd Webber was there, and it won Best Revival for Musical, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so it was great that he was up there because it had been a while, I think, since he had been on Broadway. And I just thought it was really great that he was there and he won. She was there and she won. And, congratulations to both of them.
And that was a really tough category. A lot of people thought Audra was going to win.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought
Megan Hilty was nominated.
That was a very, very...
Audra McDonald.
Yeah, very, very, I shouldn't say... Well, very tight category, very popular category. A lot of people were waiting for, of course, those, one of the last ones.
Yeah, and someone said any other year, any one of those girls would have won.
And some people said it was the best performance. Some people said it wasn't. I guess it depends on your opinion of it. I'm curious to know what they changed from it's a revival. What they changed?
It looked like it was all modernized.
Yeah, I want to know what did they change from the original musical? What they changed?
Right.
Movie versus that. I'm very curious. I need to read up on it.
Yeah,
now.
We'll have to find out.
I think it's coming here next year. I believe it's coming to LA in 2026.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten all my calendar out.
Yeah, I believe it is coming. So I'm definitely going to, I don't know if it's with her, but I definitely want
Right.
to see it. I was happy for her.
Right.
I was curious to know who was going to win that category. There was a lot of, hype on Audra.
Brouhaha, yeah.
With her sits Tonys, and
yeah.
She did her performance.
Oh.
I mean, Audra's always good.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. I like her.
Good. She always.
Although I'd like to make a comment about her performance and Nicole's performance when we get a chance.
Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. Watching her, and I was like, watching her. It was an odd performance too. If you didn't know what it was about,
right? That's why they gave you a little tag of what it was about before you started, right?
But are people actually, they were into the kitchen, they're running places. Did they catch that tag? They catch whatever, But like Audra's always good. I love her to death. That's the beauty
of Broadway. You don't really know. But one comment I want to make about her performance and Nicole's performance, I thought they were fantastic. They were really, really great, and it focused on the two of them, and not so much the rest of the musical. And I was like, I was surprised that they didn't do an ensemble number, or maybe start off at the beginning and then go into an ensemble number, because they did. Penzance was there. They did a number. I don't know. That was just my little...
You're absolutely correct. And that is a question. Do you think they did that because they're like, these are the two girls that are nominated and maybe other cast members weren't nominated besides the pictures? Or do you think they just like, let's just focus on the two of them because that's the way the numbers are?
Okay, Audra, yes. The only reason I say that is because I think Gypsy only had maybe one or two other nominations. But then my other theory was because... we had found out through the course of the show that most people had a Sunday matinee.
Yeah.
And then they came and they performed too. So maybe it was just easier not to have the cast come and perform. They can just do a simple, a solo with Nicole and a solo with Audra.
That was something. Easier. Right. Now, do they always do that? Because no. Do they always do a performance, or are they all usually canceled that day? Or is it just some shows are canceled and some shows are? Because normally there's a 1:30 and 6:30 every Sunday.
I don't know.
But I don't remember that last year.
I don't remember
some
either.
did and some didn't. But I do remember, and I know you know this story 100 times. I'll make it short. I was in New York.
I'll make it short, she says.
Yeah, I was in New York.
Here we go.
No, I'll make it real short. I was in New York. On music business, and I was there. And I did not know that the Tonys was that Sunday.
Right.
So here I am, and I'm there, I'm working, and I have Sunday off. So first I thought, oh, yes, it's Sunday. I'm going to go, because what I was doing, I was working all day, and you go to...
I remember that performance,
and then you go to the TJ Fry's in the corner, and then my hotel was around there. And then that was like my routine. And then one day, we had like a weekday, or we were done like at 6 or 7. I thought, I'm going to go see a play at 8 o'clock.
Right.
So you go down to the hot tickets booth, you get your ticket. I went to saw Matthew Broderick's play.
That's actually so much fun.
Yeah, I saw Matthew Broderick's play.
Go there and just buy yourself a hot ticket and go.
Go back to my hotel, got to get up, back to work 8 o'clock.
Right.
So then the next day, I remember I had that Sunday free. I was free that Sunday.
Yeah, and you tried to get a ticket.
I was going to go see Grease.
Right.
Because I wanted to go see Grease. I wanted to go see, I think it was Jody was doing it in a Chubby Checker or that. Or anyway, I had my, so you pick out which one you're going to go see.
Right.
And I remember going that day to try to get the ticket.
Right.
And either they were all sold out and if it was play. I couldn't figure out what was happening. I thought, this is my only day free. I need to see this play. I need to get this ticket. And I remember somebody saying to me, well, it's because the Tonys are going on. And I'm like, the Tonys? And I'm like, of course, so you know the Tonys. I said, yeah, of course I know what they are. I didn't realize. I thought they were on, following Sunday. I thought, you mean the Tony Awards is going on? Okay, well, I'm going to the Tonys.
Right.
So I go back to my hotel and drop off my stuff. I'm going to the Tonys.
That's funny.
I don't know how I'm getting it, but I got up, I got dressed, I thought I'm going to the Tonys. I went down to the Tonys, and I stood on the aisle, what do you call it? The banister, with some fans, and we saw everybody.
Yeah.
This was like in the 90s. We saw everybody. We saw, people coming in, people going out.
You're funny.
It was like a lot of fun. I had my camera. Back when everybody had cameras. This is before cell phones. Because I would have, this is before cell phones.
She's dating herself.
I'm dating myself. Anyway, this is in the 90s, and I remember that, but I don't remember, do they always do that? So it surprised me.
I don't remember. Maybe they change it every year.
And it was
I don't
so
know.
much fun. It was so much fun because everybody was like happy. Everybody was cheering.
And
there was
also
even a part where they were like, "Oh, we need to bring some people inside. That's why I got dressed up in case they said, this is
in case you see fillers,
and all this stuff." I was like, "Oh, I'm going to Tonys."
Yeah.
I even had called my boss and was like, "Oh, this is our day off, but do you have any way to go to Tonys?" And he's like, "No, but you better be there tomorrow morning to work."
Yeah, I don't care about
but
the Tonys. You just better be there at 8 o'clock.
That, saying about that play, and that's why it stood up to me. And I'm like, oh, and that's I'm like, you know what? Every time you go to New York, so now I go to New York. Now I make sure I see a play.
Yeah, and you got to.
If I'm there, I see a play. If I'm
and
there
you have to commend
days,
those Broadway performers for doing those 8 shows a week because it can be taxing, it can be hard, and they give it their all for which I think is great. Some other winners I wanted to mention, the Buena Vista Social Club.
Yes.
That was a very good musical, I think.
Yes, I want to see that one.
I apologize, I don't have the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it won maybe 4.
Yeah, she was.
Tonys,
she won, yeah.
Which
so
was
cute.
good.
Oh,
yeah, what's her name? The lead actress. I apologize that I don't have it up here.
Sorry, I thought you had the. Do you want me to pull it up?
Well, I do have it. It's just a matter of I can't scroll through my notes as fast. Best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musical. Her name was Natalie Veneta Balcon for Buena Vista Social Club. Yeah. And she performed. The whole cast kind of performed in that one, which I thought was good.
They were really into it. They were really in that.
Because you got to see the choreography and you got to see the performer, the musicians, and everybody on stage. That was a good performance.
Yeah, you were asking, though, about the ensemble versus the solo performance. And I know there was a performance they did for the Michelle Williams thing, and she introduced it. They did it twice. Right. They had 2 people introduce it.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why aren't they in the number? And I know they sometimes pick a number that they can show everybody.
Right,
or
the showcase, right.
Because a lot of times I watch, like, why did they pick that number? Especially
and I think it's because the 2 actresses that were there were nominated for Best Lead Actress in a Musical. And that performance pretty much, I think, featured the both of them. Or they thought that was their best performance. I don't know why they do it or why they don't. Why
they pick it or why they do it or what made them decide to pick that number versus another number.
We'd have to ask somebody.
Whatever. Yeah, I need to ask Tom.
Yeah.
That's why I need to ask. But that's another story.
Yeah.
And, so I was happy for Nicole won. Darren won.
Mm-hmm. Then there was, when we get to plays, there was the play Purpose.
Yeah.
That won. And the actress won for Best Actress in a Play. And the play won for Best Play, which I think was really good. We wanted to note that out. Was there any other... What other performances did you like or stood out to you?
Well, there was a lot of performances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of...
That was cute. David Hyde Pierce was there because the Pirates of Prince Anne's has a revival called Pirates, I think it was called. And they did a number which I thought was really cute and really good. I can't think of anything else that I could say right now. I know you're clowning on me, but what about you?
No, I'm trying to think of other ones before I mention the highlight of the night.
I know.
I was trying to mention everything else first before we get to the highlight of the night. Trying to think of anything offhand that stood out. I really liked the Buena Social Club. I really liked Audra's number.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked... I'm trying to think of any other numbers that I really, really liked. But let's just stop that because I don't have my notes right in front of me.
Okay, so then...
I apologize. So let's just cut...
No, it's all right.
Let's just cut right to it.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say,
okay.
What's wrong?
Nothing, go ahead.
Here we go. I wanted to say that, going back to Cynthia for a second or two, some of the sketches she did, like during her monologue, George Clooney was, one of the highlights of the night. Everybody's talking about him, that, fact that he was there with Good Night, Good Luck. And his Broadway play has really, between him and some of the other ones, it's been a really good season for Broadway right now. As far as box office and stuff, so I thought that was great. Keanu Reeves was there, him and Alex Winter, and they, from Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure, they're reuniting and getting back together for Waiting for Godot in the fall. So it was nice that they were there to help open it, bring some attention, to Broadway that some people don't normally get, which I thought was good. That Darren musical, that Maybe Happy Ending, it also won Best Director of a Musical. It won 2 of the other ones I just kind of wanted to mention out, but of course I don't see it because I said it. And also, too, Best Featured Actor in a Play was Francis Jew for Yellowface, and that's the play that I was saying that was Daniel Day Kim was in, that is playing on PBS. So you want to talk about that? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, the sketches were funny, and I always I know when they do those sketches. I know they 9 times out of 10 they ask the actors, are you comfortable doing this?
Right.
So no one's put on the spot.
Right.
But I was really surprised. I knew the Oprah one with Cynthia.
Yeah.
Oprah said they worked together for it. I kind of know who you work with, who you could go with.
Right.
So I knew that was not planned. And whatever, but I was surprised.
But you knew it was coming.
Yeah, but I was surprised that the skit with Keanu Reeves wasn't planned. I was very surprised.
Oh, you mean with Jonathan Groff?
With Jonathan, I thought for sure that was planned. But he said no, he wasn't planned. He had no idea. And that
it was great.
But he knows him really well, so he felt comfortable enough and whatever. Because they usually do that when you watch those skits. They usually ask when she goes, if she has,
I'm gonna come to you.
Yeah, when she had, Kristen Chenoweth singing, and Adam Lambert, Adam can sing.
Oh yeah,
so I was like, she came out and said, "Please go to Adam." And
that was one of the highlights.
Like, yes, even though Adam can sing. So I thought Adam.
She's talking about Adam Lambert.
Yeah, I was like, Adam Lambert. He gonna grab the mic and get on stage already. But anyway, and that's great because they're going to be working together at the Hollywood Bowl.
That should be nice.
It's going to be good. Seeing that in August. But so I was really surprised that wasn't planned. I thought for sure that was like one of the things they had set up and everything else. But I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was
I thought
really
it was very funny. I thought the jokes were crafty. I also like when she got in the balcony.
Yes.
She went up to the balcony.
That was cute.
And I thought that's good because I always love when a person goes to the balcony because everybody knows. Anyone who has seen musicals or seen something, you have been in that balcony.
Oh, yeah, with my little glasses.
Yeah, everyone has been in that balcony, sitting up there. So
my $75 ticket, trying to see.
At that Tonys Awards in those balcony seats, having a great time, watching it, wishing they'd be on the floor. But I like how she went up there and she talked to them and she says, I know, and she referenced a joke. This is better up here, so Jonathan won't spit on you. It was like, they just worked that back in.
That was sweet.
And the way she worked it, and I went to go do a show, and I went to go do. I just thought that part was great.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I wouldn't mind if she hosted again, if she would be good. And I think she gave a nod to some of the other people who've hosted in the past. Neil Patrick Harris has done it more than once. James Corden's done it more than once. Hugh Jackman's done it more than once. And now Ariana's done it more than once. So I thought that was cute when she said, if you have any comments or anything about it, you can email Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah. He's not here, but you maybe want him to know.
That was just funny.
Yeah.
He goes, he's here. And he'll be more than happy to hear what you want to say.
Yeah, what you have to say.
I thought it was good. And the ratings were up, too. The ratings were like an all-time high from like the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay, and you want to talk about one of the reasons why?
Yeah, because that's what I was saying.
Yeah, let's get to it.
I was letting it all get out before I brought up my thing.
Bring it.
Okay, I watch the Tonys every year. Okay,
yeah.
As you probably realize that I told you my Tony story. I watch it every year.
Yes.
It's a highlight. I make a note to watch it.
I love it.
In fact, I made sure I was home to watch it.
Right.
In the middle of,
I hate when there's something else going on in the Tonys.
FYC.
ASCAP. Everything,
going on right now. But I was like, I don't care what's happening.
Weekend.
I shouldn't say care what's happening. But no matter what's happening, I will be back in my home. I like to watch it at my house if I am not there in person.
Right.
Because you're watching a party. People are talking. So
no one's paying attention.
Yeah, I need to be in the room where it happens.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I was not missing
Oh my God.
Hamilton reunion.
Oh my God.
From
I was so
they
excited.
Announced it, from the minute they put out the press release, and when they put out the press release, I was checking to see what names weren't on it, and I was like,
no shade to anybody who performed, but that was by far the best performance of the night. Maybe even in the last couple of years.
Oh, it was great.
That the show has done. It was good. I have one complaint. It wasn't long enough.
It wasn't long enough.
That's my only complaint. Wasn't long enough.
I originally thought, because I looked at my phone when it started, when it ended, and somehow I added 2 minutes to the performance. I thought it said 7 minutes.
I think it was 2 minutes of us talking about how good it was. And we're like, oh my God, we have to go back. We have to watch it again. We have to see.
And if you take out when Cynthia started talking to when it started, it was like 5 minutes.
Okay, no. They said it was 7. So when Cynthia started talking, and then after they did their performance and their accolades, they had a little tag where the camera followed them
off the stage.
Yeah. And I think they added that part too, but it wasn't long enough.
Okay, regardless. Whether it was 4:45, 5 minutes.
2 minutes, whatever minutes. It wasn't long enough. Yeah.
I watched it back now about 6-7 times.
Oh, so great.
Usually I thought I would have watched it more, but we were busy. Anyway,
yeah.
So it was so good. I think,
it was good.
Originally, first it doesn't seem like it's been 10 years.
I know.
It doesn't seem like it's been 10 years.
And I think it's because I watch it every time you're out of town. Yep. I watch it. I have to watch it. It's on Disney Plus right now. A version of the original Broadway cast. It has it on Disney Plus, and I think everybody knows. I think that when I put it on, sometimes it'll be like, you again? How many times can you watch this? Really? We're going to have to start charging her more. Anyway, that's how much I've watched it.
If you have not watched it, you really should. I know a lot of people I still say to this day are like, I still haven't seen this. Like, you haven't watched it?
I mean, I can understand, but you
need to watch it.
Yeah, I encourage them to watch it.
You watch it. I remember when it was out, it was playing. I told every friend I knew to, like, read the story, follow along, whatever, because if you don't do it really quick, they rap really, really fast, or you're gonna lose.
Right.
You're gonna lose what's happening.
It's so nice to see them all.
You don't want to be in the first half losing what's happening and catching on in the second half.
Yeah, you're trying to figure it out.
My friends go, I couldn't catch up. I couldn't keep up with them. And then the second half, I got along, with them. But it had to like it's been 10 years. Number one.
I know.
Number two, if you watch Hamilton. And that original cast, if you look at that cast,
so good
of all those people and what happened to them after, and how I remember watching when they were on the year they won all the Tonys.
Yeah.
The year they won all the Tonys.
Yes.
That year they performed. And I remember saying, I wonder why they picked that song to perform.
Oh, right. You always talked about
it. And I thought, all the songs of that musical.
Yeah.
And you had said, because that's the song everyone's
in it, right.
You can use everyone and everything else. So when they started planning this one, I looked at the original press release when it first came out. I remember not seeing Jasmine's in there, not seeing Anthony's. I thought, what's going on? Where are these two coming? What's happening?
Yeah, some of the principal people.
The principal people were there too. But Jazz, I don't know what she's working on. I know she's on a TV show, but she was there.
But she was there.
She was there. Yeah. And then Anthony is working on
Anthony Ramos,
who
played Philip,
the Ryan Murphy
Skyler,
movie.
Yeah.
They said he wasn't going to be there, but that movie's now in New York right now, and they said they slipped him in. He made it last minute. That's why.
Yeah, he's also coming in Ironheart, the Disney Plus series that's coming on, and he's in a Ryan Murphy show, a Ryan Murphy production or something.
That's the one they're working on. That's what they said they didn't think he'd be able to make it. But I'm like, that's probably in New York right now, and he was there.
Right.
That's probably why he didn't get a solo, because people were asking online, why would he get closer? Why did he get a solo? They didn't think he was going to be there.
Right.
So, but the way they did it, and I kept
supposedly he just showed up that morning.
Yeah, and I kept thinking, what song are they going to do? It's like I was thinking all the songs I wanted to hear. And the way they did that melody.
Yeah, it was like really smart.
So everyone got to focus. And that likely too.
They did
They were all wearing black. They all had like black dresses and black
formals
suits.
On was very
black
nice.
Formals on. I'm glad I didn't watch their Instagram, because on the Instagram they had them. Here they are. They're in the elevator. I'm glad.
Oh yeah, you watched that after.
I was watching the Tonys, because that would have
so good.
That would have kind of did it, but just to do a little snippets of the room where it happens.
And,
we bet his has his eye on you. Just the way they did it, and just the way, I don't know how to even describe it without talking about it.
I loved it. every bit of it.
Second of it. Just every second. But I do remember watching the Tonys that night. And they performed that number. And when they performed
You're talking about the original night.
The original night.
Yes.
I remember sitting there going, every single person who is nominated is performing, I say it all the time, is performing like somebody came up and said, whoever does the best performance
will get the Tony.
Is going to get a Tony and $1 million and a record deal.
You do say that all the time.
All the time, because everyone was just killing it.
Right.
They were killing to the point where I think they were up for like 11 Tonys that year or whatever. I think it was 11 that year, or was it more? Anyway, they could only win so many because they were in double categories.
Yeah.
Like, Leslie was up against, Lynn.
Right.
And the girls were up against each other. And,
right.
It was just, but just watch that award and watching, hold on. Last thing to say. And watching Leslie Odom Jr.
Oh, one of my favorite
watching
voices, music voices, male voices. Right now,
every time I watch,
so good.
That musical on it. Every time I watch it, when you're watching on the ABC channel, and he's just watching like,
he's so good.
I am going to win that Tony. Yeah. I am going to take everybody out. It might be like a competition.
Room where it happens.
There's only gonna be one winner.
Right.
And I'm gonna win. And then I watch David, and he's just like. On there, and he's just like
he won a Tony too for
he won a Tony as well. He's like,
actor,
I'm going to take everybody. It was like a Hunger Games battle.
So good.
And only one person's going to win. And then you watch Renee.
Oh, so good.
Renee.
The Schuyler sisters.
I mean, you watch Renee. Renee, who's been following Soap Girl for One Life to Live, and you just watch her. And she is singing, and she's like, I'm going to win that Tony. And I remember crying when she won the Tony. And I remember Lynn, when they won, it just so emotional.
Yeah.
So, and
it was really good.
Hamilton. And then I got to make a point to, I know we don't have time. Okay, we gotta go to the next show. But last thing, there's a guy on the show named Thane Japerson.
No, Thane.
I've been watching Thane
on the show. She's talking about Hamilton.
I've been following him since he was a contestant, so he's like, he can dance.
You go, Thane.
So he can dance. He finished at number 11.
Shout out for him.
On the show was at 12, and they took him as an alternate on the tour. And back then on the tour, they got to do a little dance. And I remember I was mad when he got voted off. I was like, oh, whatever else too. But anyway. He is on Hamilton. So he's been on Hamilton. Other people from that show have been on Hamilton as well. Which is one, what's her name? Bullet Girl.
Since the original cast.
Yeah, she was also so good dance. Anyway, so there's been a few of them been on Hamilton, but he has been the person that has stayed with that show. He has been there. He is still there.
One of the few original cast members still working.
Workers, and he's now the key. And he's on that show, and they had a little video of him on TikTok. Of him, not TikTok, it was on Instagram, of him walking them all back. And he's like, here they all come. And here you see Renee, and you see, Leslie, and you see Lynn, and you see, and just the fact they brought everybody back. They had the Sky Sisters back, and you know what they're doing now. Oh. And then you even saw how they incorporated other people that you probably weren't so familiar with then, and they were in this Hamilton project. It was great it was
great all around.
Just watching Christopher, everyone coming back like that. I mean, I hope other people enjoyed it as much as I did.
I'm sure people did, because I know a lot of people are talking about it. It was one of the social media highlights.
All
the news feeds talk about it the next day.
I remember getting on Facebook for a second. One of my friends goes, if you're not waiting for this Hamilton reunion, what are you doing?
With your life?
I waited. What's your life right now? And then I got some other people that were like, wow, what is so great about this thing? Let me tune in. Let me see if people are talking. People are still talking about it. But
that's all right. You'll get there. It's
one of those, every time it comes to town, I make sure to see it. It was just here. I always go and see it.
Right.
It's just one of those.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about it. That
it's just something that touched people.
I think
the music, the emotion, the fact that it was, about our country. And
it gets a lot of criticism.
Yeah. Well, of course.
It gets a lot of criticism about the characters are playing everything else, but I think it's because it was different.
Right.
It was something that was like a history thing, and he made it different.
Right.
And I think that's what struck out to me, because there's so many things that have been remade and recopied and redone. There was something different about it, and I just love it. I just love it, and Leslie's coming back. I want to go to New York now.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's going to come back and revise his role for a while. So I think That was a highlight for me.
Yeah, it was a highlight for me too. And I don't mean to rush you. Let's just move on.
Oh, I understand.
The last thing about Cynthia was her closing number.
Yeah.
She closed it out with a rap of, I'm telling you, I'm not going from Gene Girls. And she did, in the lyrics, all the past people and everything who won. So, and it was just fantastic, as you would expect it to be. But I just thought she was really great. 11 costume changes.
Oh, so it was 11.
An Oprah joke. She gave Oprah a car in one of her sketches. I just thought everything about the show was good. It was a really good show.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm glad the weather held up.
Yep.
In New York, because sometimes it'll be rain. Glad the weather held up. I'm glad the ratings were
Right.
there. I'm glad people were talking about it. And
yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah, I'm glad they're talking about it. And I enjoyed it. You know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I would give it, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Anything?
Yes, I would change things. The Hamilton thing would have been longer.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, I think I would have done the choreography maybe on the air. Yeah. And maybe taken one of the other ones. Maybe taken out one of those little like teacher things. Oh, yeah. In the opening act, they gave some Lifetime Achievement Awards. I forgot. Harvey Feinstein got one. I thought that was really nice. I probably would have put a little bit of that into the live show. And that's really the only things I would have done. And Hamilton would have been longer.
And if you want to watch it, you can watch it on Paramount Plus.
Right. It's showing on Paramount Plus.
I don't know if they're showing the opening act part and
it's there
part,
as well.
They're both
there.
Okay. So you should definitely watch it if you're listening to this podcast and you're curious.
Yeah, I think you should.
You could also, if you just want to see the
or if somebody wants to sponsor us, we'll gladly take sponsors or something like that. Come on, CBS. Come on, Tony. Come on, Hamilton. Come on, Lynn. Somebody sponsor us. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. So now.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, Lynn.
We know you're listening.
Yeah, I know you are.
Well,
you know.
But
I know you're busy, but
Lynn's dad.
Yeah.
Lynn's very nice family member.
Yeah.
We know you might listen if we send it to you.
Okay, so anyway, that was Sunday night.
So that was Sunday night. So I would say watch.
So what about Monday?
If you don't, you could also go to the Tonys YouTube official site if you just want to watch the clips. But if you do anything, watch the Hamilton clip and watch it. I'll be watching it as soon as this podcast is over. Okay.
Probably.
Well, that was Sunday night.
Right.
And then there was Monday night.
The BET Awards.
Monday night is the BET Awards, and we have safely just made it home.
Are they still going on?
The BET Awards, yeah.
Are they still going on?
They're still going on.
Yeah.
A friend of mine made a comment on my social media and said, "You haven't posted any pictures from the BET Awards." And I thought, well, I'm still trying to get home.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was the longest...
longest show of my life.
It was the longest show of my life. And I say that every year. But it literally was the longest show of my life. And
was how many? 4 hours and 45 minutes?
4 hours and 50 minutes. They're reporting it as 4:45. But it was 4 hours and 50 minutes.
How'd you get 4:50?
Because I looked at my watch.
Oh, my God.
4 hours and 50 minutes.
You're funny.
But I will give one plus note on that. Well, I have a lot of plus notes on the BT.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I will give a plus note, and we say this every single year because we go to the ceremony every year. People are usually out the door. People get up, and people are out of there.
Yeah.
And the poor person who closes that show out
gets nobody.
Is playing to nobody.
Seat fillers,
Because everybody, seat fillers. Everybody is starting to walk out of there. They are tired. They are hungry. There's parties to go to. There's things to do. And you're just tired of sitting there.
Speaking of parties,
and you're tired of sitting there. However, last year it was that Lauryn Hill thing. Everyone thought she wasn't going to come, and and then she came and she did perform.
Oh my God, I remember that.
But then she brought her son, and he started doing a whole routine, and we're like,
why'd you remind me of that?
Okay,
I remember that now.
Okay, and people were like, gots to go. And
we have so much to cover with this year.
You start to get up, and you're like, let me just start heading out because it's almost over. And I can just get to the bathroom and then get out the door because you're downtown, like, and just start moving to the next location to beat everybody.
Right.
Not this year.
No.
Kurt Franklin closed that show up.
Right.
And that show was long, and it was long, and it was long, but nobody moved because Kurt Franklin.
Yeah. Let me talk about a few things.
Tore it up.
Really quick.
Tore it down.
Kevin Hart was the host. He was one of his sketches. And then you talk about performances. they had what they called the Ultimate Icon Award because it was the 25th anniversary of the BET Awards. And it was the 45th anniversary of BET. The cable channel, the streaming channel, I don't know what to even call it anymore. I'm very confused with what it is now. But it was the 45th anniversary of that first broadcast. And the Ultimate Icons were Kirk Franklin, who got an award, gave a speech, and performed in a tribute. There was Snoop Dogg, who actually got the Ultimate Icon Award as well, performed and had a tribute. Then there was Mariah Carey, Ultimate Icon, who performed and gave, and had a tribute. And then there was Jamie Foxx, who had a tribute to him. He didn't perform, but there was a tribute to him, all-star tribute, and a speech or whatever you call it. So those were the 4 things that when you talked about Kirk Franklin, that's why I figured I had to mention that right now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he closed up the show.
Yes.
Let's start with Kevin Hart. Okay,
yes.
First of all, Kevin Hart made a comment, and I saw it, I think, Friday on Entertainment Tonight. He made a comment that he don't know what he's going to do. He's live. It's
I know.
Hard to, and I kept thinking to myself,
I was worried about that. I'm not going to lie.
I was like, Kevin Hart's live, it's going to be worried. We always talk about the host every year. A couple of times they keep repeating hosts a lot and whatever, but we had a fresh start. We had Kevin Hart.
Taraji's done it before. Jamie, Tracy.
I know Criss has.
I don't think I've ever seen him perform it either.
Because I was trying to think about when they said 25th anniversary. I was like, wow, I should go through all the ones. I'm like, I have been to
more than you realize.
More than I realized. I know I was at the third one. My God, let's see if I was at the first, the second. But anyway,
I think that you've been to at least 12.
That's more.
Maybe
than
10. I'm thinking at least.
It's definitely more than that.
Well, if it's more than that, it's more than that.
But
I was thinking maybe 12.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
Maybe 12 for you.
Maybe
I've
12
definitely been to more. And I'm only saying that only because it's sticking in my head one particular show. That's why. I have to look up what year that one particular show.
Yes.
It's a show that the Smiths, Will and Jada hosted.
Yes. You read that one too. So
that's what I'm trying to think. And that was before the show moved downtown. But
you probably did. But anyway,
Kevin. We'll get on to Kevin. Okay. Kevin, I thought was great.
He was very funny.
I thought he was very funny.
Yep.
I thought something crazy was going to happen.
He went there a couple of times that I feel like he shouldn't have.
We knew he was going to.
But that's just Kevin.
You knew it.
Right. Uh-huh. I liked him talking, to people in the audience. I liked the sketch where he had Usher and he had on Usher's coat.
Oh, God.
And it was Tashina Arnold and Tisha Campbell and Kerry Washington. And that was funny, the four of them in this sketch. That was really great. I really loved the
sketch just came out of nowhere, too. It was just like, it was so late in the day.
Yeah.
That when the sketch came out, you were just like,
oh no,
what is going to happen now? And it was so well played. And the way they did it, you needed that moment at that point too, because it was just like
because there was just so much going on. So it was cute. Then I like to I'm still laughing. The Real Husbands of Hollywood. Yeah, The Real Husbands of Hollywood, one of my favorites, and I was so glad that they reunited through casting for a sketch.
They're doing a special.
Yeah, that could have been more. Oh yeah, there is a Father's Day special, which is a marathon on BET, and you can watch them. And for Father's Day, Star Wars has the I Am Your Father's Day. Then we've got The Real Husbands of Hollywood. I think it's just great. There's a lot of Father's Day kind of things that are out, which are really cute. But to get back to Kevin, he just bought out everybody. So sad. He called out everybody that was there and was not there at the same time, which I thought was kind of funny. A couple of things there was a couple of sketches that he should not have done. There's Drewski and Kaisenet. I understand why they did it because
you didn't need that at all.
I know, but they're really popular streamers, really, really popular. I don't know. I call them streamers. Yeah, I don't know if they're bloggers, if they're YouTubers, they're TikTokers. I don't know what to call them, so I'm just gonna call them streamers. They're very, very popular, and it is the big thing right now to try to get the social media influence, try to get the TikToks, try to get the streamers and stuff, because that's the way people watch TV now, as a lot of people say. So they try to get that. I think the sketches with them went on a little too long and didn't quite work. And the only reason is because they're not actors. They're not comedy actors. So I think that's the only reason why it didn't work. Or maybe they didn't rehearse. Or maybe they were doing a ad lib, just doing something freestyle. I don't know. But that didn't quite work. But I think everything else did. All the sketches. I liked all the people being introduced. I liked him, introducing the people coming out. And I don't know. What else you want to say about Kevin?
Yeah. I thought Kevin was funny. He cracked me up. Mm-hmm. He cracked me up. He kept it moving. He kept it going. He did his routine, and he disappeared for an hour like I liked.
Yeah.
You
go take your dinner.
Take your break.
Yeah.
Come back and later on, and make sure everybody's still around. Which he did when he did the skit with the extra and the cheery skit. He came back later.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he hosted again.
And there's been times where the host comes back, you're like, okay, can you keep
or where you been?
Yeah. Or there's times the host keeps coming back, and you're like, we need to just, which we have talked about.
Right.
You go to BT on our podcast and listen to our past ones.
Ad nauseum, yes.
Because we've talked about all of them. And the majority of the last, few years.
Right.
And there's been times where, but I thought he kind of stepped away. And he wasn't coming out doing different tributes and different things that he shouldn't. He came at the end to close out the show. So I thought he was funny.
Yeah, I thought he was very funny too.
But he get the crowd going. He did a little controversy, keep people talking.
Right.
Little things that he shouldn't have been saying. But okay, I do like though. He made a comment. The show was on a Monday. And very, very rarely is there a
Monday. I know.
It's always on a Sunday.
Yeah.
BT is usually always that last.
Yeah, but
Sunday.
then I was thinking, when can they do the last Sunday?
Well, they moved it up.
What's going on? Right.
And I made a comment about that. I thought Monday we got to get downtown LA on a Monday. People get to work and as opposed to a Sunday. And he made a comment. That was the first thing he said was that this is on a Monday, so there's no after parties. Go home. And go home.
Yeah.
So he made a joke. He put that into the joke.
And I'm like, I'll be too tired to do anything else by the time this thing is over and you get home and wrap everything up.
Yeah, it was just kind of the way he was saying little things that kind of hit you later. Then he started, picking on different celebrities that were there, and you're just like, oh, okay. I remember someone had once said that, when you see certain comedians come out, you're like, oh no, hope you don't see me.
Right.
Like you're a celebrity, you're like, please don't see me, please don't see me.
Yeah, don't call me out, don't say whatever, right.
And one of the things they did is, one of the things that I really, really liked, I mention it all the time, and I'll mention it right off the bat.
Okay.
I like when people show up.
Yes.
I say it all the time.
I know, it's so important.
It is so important.
And I don't understand.
That people show up for these award shows. And the example I always give you is that there was a list. These award shows aren't planned overnight. Mm-hmm. They're planned way in advance. And when they're planned way in advance,
there's going to be
here's
your calendar for the summer, here's your calendar for whenever, right?
It tells you all the shows. And it's up to you and your team, which is called a team,
right,
to make sure you are available for all of these events.
I agree.
And a lot of times it happens, and I always, nitpicky on that, is that people are available for the Grammys. They're available for the Oscars.
The Golden Globes.
They don't miss the Golden Globes. They don't miss SAG. But then they don't show up for other events, these other award shows. And as we're talking BET, BET for Black Entertainment, television.
Right.
The majority of the crowd is going to be Afro-American audience. That's obvious, too. So you're going to have, the black celebrities that need to be at these events.
Right.
And I was glad to see it because it's a little tiring when you want to push and push and push.
Yeah.
You want to push for diversity and you want to push for it. But
you want this award show to be as popular as everything else.
And you want it to be as awarded, Right. And one of the things you notice that people were all there, they're dancing down carpets at all these other shows. And it's not to take away from any of the show, take away from the people, but then they can't make these shows.
Dancing down carpets.
So it was good to see, just an example. So it was good to see people there.
Right. I
really liked it. I was glad to see it.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm checking schedule. I'm checking tour dates, especially when it comes to music awards.
Well, some of the big winners.
Tour dates.
Yeah.
I'm checking stuff. And when they plan these things, they can't put all these categories on the air.
Of course.
So they put out the invites, they put the nominations out, they get the votes back, and they get the RCPs back. Right. And the producers of the show are like, well, what are we going to show on the air? We don't want to show a bunch of categories
where nobody's there.
And no one's going to be coming.
Right.
So we're going to start putting the categories on the air where we know someone may actually be there to show up to present.
But I like that.
To get the category.
Talk a little bit about, like, some of the night's big winner probably was Kendrick Lamar. He got like 5 or 6 awards.
Kendrick Lamar won 5 or 6 awards.
He was there.
Him and SZA won with the biggest, the big award nights. They're on tour.
Yes, SZA,
they are
female artist.
I did expect to see them.
Kendrick male rapper. Best collaboration, best video of the year, Not Like Us, dun, 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 album of the year.
I expected not to see them because they're on tour. I said they're on tour. They're playing in Detroit this week. I didn't expect to see them. And they both were there.
They did. It was
up.
great.
I don't know what time they got there because SZA won earlier. They showed up.
They were there.
And to me, that was so important to me to see them show up because they had a day off.
Right.
They didn't have to be there. And if they weren't there, I would excuse them because I said I checked tour dates. But when you check tour dates...
You would have excused them, but you still would have clowned on them.
No, I would excuse them because I know they're on tour.
Right.
I know how hard it is to be on a tour. You're in Detroit.
Yeah.
Basically, you're playing Detroit on Tuesday night. You need to be in Detroit on Monday.
Right.
Traffic and air so that, you would take some red eye tonight because they're not on that stage.
Right.
That's a bigger problem if they don't make it to that stage on Tuesday and what's going on in the world, the air, the traffic. You don't know. You need to be there. Their crew's there.
But they were there. He was there. SZA was there. Doechii was there. She was one of the winners. Glorilla was there. She won.
Was there. It was good to see it.
Yeah.
The Albert Elementary team, Quinta and Tyler came out and presented.
Oh, right. Yes.
That was good to see.
Yes.
You need to see people. Kerry Washington being there.
Yes.
That's good to see. You need to see your crossover stars.
And then Leon Thomas was Best New Artist, and he was there as well.
He was there.
Yeah, so I think that was great.
I think you need to see that. Because when you see more of that, then it helps. Like I said, I check tour dates. And when you're off for 5 or 6 months, and you're not at the BET Awards.
Yeah, I know it's hard, June, because it's vacation, it's...
Well, as I said,
like vacation time, it's right,
and you get the calendar, and your agent goes through the calendar.
But I liked it.
You sit there and you say, you know what? Early in June, I'm going to be there to represent. Just like I will expect you to see there at the NAACP awards. I expect you to see at these awards. It's just important. Mm-hmm. It's important, and it's important to have crossover people. Machine Gun Kelly was there,
right?
Having
That's
a
true.
Great time. People were like, "What's he doing there?" He's there because he wants to see the show.
Yeah. Shabuzi was there.
Shabuzi. Yeah. There you go. Shabuzi.
He's a country artist.
He's the biggest country artist.
And he was up
last year,
for Best New Artist and some other awards.
They had a whole thing where they performed.
Yeah, and he performed. Right.
And he performed last year. He was nominated. He was there. That's
good
to see.
Yes.
So I think it's really good. So I really like it, as I call it, people who showed up. I think that was very good to see. I think it helped in the race. I think it helped keep the flow of the show.
Right.
I think it helped keep people watching the show.
Right.
And that's one thing I really like to see.
Right.
There was a couple categories that they had that people don't know. It's not all just music. It's music.
Right.
They have a sports category. They have an acting category.
And then sports category was Female Sportswoman of the Year, and Angel Reese won from the Chicago Sky from women's basketball. And I wanted to say congratulations to her, because there's a lot of controversy and stuff so far, online chatter or something about her win, and it was her 3rd win in a row. So, you go, girl. And very congratulations and stuff to her. Other categories that they didn't...
Did LeBron win the guys? I can't remember.
No, Jalen Hurts won from the Eagles.
Jalen Hurts won. Okay.
Right.
He's the one just got married?
Yes. Okay. He just got married.
Yeah, so it would have been nice to have someone from the sports world there. They do like the actor category. Cynthia Erivo won the acting.
Yeah, and Denzel.
Now, Denzel won the men's. I don't know where Denzel is. I'll have to look. But anyway, I do like... Okay,
he's on Broadway still, right?
Oh, that's right. He's on Broadway. Yeah, he's on Broadway. Wrestling because they have a show on Tuesday.
And then...
So Cynthia just at the Tonys. She won actress. He won actor. So like I said, I'll give him a pass.
And then Luther Never Too Much won Best Movie.
Tonys. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about representation. It's good to see... to have some of those other categories on the air. So I understand why the producers make those choices. That's why when you're watching the show and you're like, why is there only 9 categories? There's like 100 categories. You only see 5 on the air, 6 on the air.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. But they had 5,000 performances and the whole 106 in Park City,
that's my thing. I would like to see more categories on the air and more representation. So I brought it up right at the thing. I got that out of the way.
Oh, I'd like to see more categories on the air, like you said.
So you would know it's not just BET and just some videos. It's like the act.
Exactly.
You would never know. You would never know.
And then what? I know they didn't have time for it. It would have been nice if they could have.
They had time for it. Oh, they had time for it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they could have, maybe, I don't know, maybe there were some legalities. They could have done
Gotta ask Connie Orlando.
Yeah, some little clips, or Dominic Harmon, Jesse Collins. There's a few, they could have shown some clips of 25 years past. Those, those little tiny little clips. Yeah, and they didn't.
I was waiting for that.
And I understand why they didn't, because they did that whole 106 in Park thing, which was nice, and I liked it, but I feel like there was too much in one show. They had a week's worth, or three years of programming and awards and stuff worth. I would have preferred a special, a 106 in Park special. Then that way it could have been an hour. They could have had performances and all that stuff too. I know they probably don't have enough programming or TV, space or something for it. Drop one of those Tyler Perry
marathons. So much time in
Drop
space.
one of those Tyler Perry marathons. Drop whatever. Okay, they could have shot it all that same weekend because that's where everybody was. And then they could have done it just like differently, the 106 in Park. Or...
it should have been a special.
Yeah, it should have been a special. Like you said, it could have been an email. Or it could have been...
should have been a special.
Saved for part of the carpet. Maybe make that a special. Or maybe it could have been part of the BET Experience weekend, and they could have recorded that and then showed that as a special. Or, I don't know. I'm just thinking about that at the top of my head. I thought it was too much show.
But let's talk
There
about
could have been a special.
Yeah, it should have been a special.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, it was good.
Oh, it was great.
It was great. It was
I liked
good.
it.
It was great.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the old... I'm trying to find a way to word it. It reminded me of the old tours... I don't want to use Southern Tour for example. It reminded me of these old tours that they used to have where...
the package tours.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old package tours.
Yeah.
The old package tours that come out and one person would perform and they're dancing, boom, they disappear.
Yeah.
And the next band's out and it becomes booming. You're like just
the
non-stop.
Like the Queens.
Like the Queens.
Non-stop.
Yeah,
2
like
hours, boom, boom, boom. You saw B2K. You saw Amarie. You saw Maya.
I mean, they busted it out so quick that when Maya came out, I said to you, is that Maya? I mean, it was moving so quick.
Yeah, it was. It was moving
so quick, so loud, so fast. Okay, all at one stage. They were boom, boom, boom. Okay, it was great.
Yeah, and I liked that they had the host that were there. They had the little audience that would sit there and watch. And they kind of mocked it.
They mocked it. They mocked the stage.
I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute.
They mocked it all. They went but they went down every year.
I know we didn't need every year.
Every year, everything.
It was like a half an hour long.
It was. It literally was.
And
it was 40 minutes long.
I don't think
it 20 minutes.
It could have been 15.
It was supposed to be 20, but I think it meant about 40.
40. Yeah. It could have been. It could have been 15.
And everybody, but you know what it seemed? It seemed to be like, and they performed like a long time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And not saying that. Okay, a long and a short time.
No, long. Too long.
It was fantastic. Great. She's got her hits. She's got her songs. But it was getting to the point where I enjoyed it.
Yeah, sing one song and you'll be done.
Every second of it.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
But at a certain point. Was it when T.I. came out? Someone came out and I was just like...
I'm like, what time is it?
I was just like, this needs to stop. At the beginning. I thought, we're going to run out of time here.
And then...
And it was no disrespect.
Right.
But then when they brought Bow Wow out and I thought, well, we're going this far.
Might as well.
No, I thought, we're going this far. You might as well do a little speech and show the clip of Aaliyah and Bow Wow when they won the Homecoming King and Queen. If you're going this far back, because you really have a chance to throw an Aaliyah in there.
They almost got there.
It's always a chance to throw Aaliyah in.
They almost got there.
Get her in there.
Yeah.
But the way they did it,
you know. Oh, my God.
But I thought about it later. Well, if you weren't familiar with this 106, if you weren't familiar with it, you're like, what is happening?
Yeah. People born in like 2000s.
Yeah. Somebody
they're like,
watching
what
it.
is this?
Watching it is going, what is happening here? Who are all these people?
And then I thought it was interesting when they had the we haven't announced we're going to do 106 in sports. And I'm like, huh? Yeah. Which I thought was okay. But then you just have, it was Cam Newton, and I can't remember who the other person was. Have them come out and present an award. And they can mention it right there. Now come up, the stars of the new 106 in Park show, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like there was a bit much. I don't know.
But like I said, that looked good on paper. The way they wrote that up, the way they wrote it down.
Like I said, it looked good. Any other show, it would have been fantastic. They could have, I know.
But the fact that we were honoring 4 icons.
Yep.
And
4 icons who deserve.
It was a bit much.
4 icons who deserve 1 hour specials in their own rights. Number 2, they had the in memoriam. We lost a lot of people this year. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. We lost a lot of people this year. And they put a lot of focus on it and a lot of time on it. But it's like, we've got all these icons. We've got the 106 in Park people. And then I don't want to say the nerve, because I'm glad that they did it, but maybe they shouldn't have. Then they had other performances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, why?
The 4 icons.
Yeah, between the 4 icons. And the tributes to them. Their performances.
There really wasn't time.
And then the 106.
There really wasn't time to bust out other performances.
Yeah, Playboy Cardi, huh?
There really wasn't.
So who? Yeah. And then you got, I know it's going to sound mean. I don't mean to sound mean. And then you got Little Kim, who is part of the 25th anniversary thing. Why is she outside performing before the whole thing starts? Bring her inside.
We haven't even discussed that. We won't discuss the outside thing.
We don't have enough time.
There's not enough time to discuss the outside.
Well, unless we want it to be as long as the award show itself, and I don't think we can. Yeah. Oh my God! I was just like, what?
So what they should have done, in my opinion, they should have done a 1 and 6. Okay, they should have done. They were all in town. They all came to rehearse. Yeah. I would have taped it all then.
That's what I'm saying.
Taped it all.
Yeah.
And it would have been a special on BET.
Yeah. But we gotta find the programming. Okay, so
date. And then I would have had
Connie, somebody, if you're listening, that's what you do next time.
I would have had a special. I would have taped it right then. They're all in town.
Right.
I would have taped it right then. You already had the place blocked off for a week for rehearsal, everything else in blocking. I would have taped it. Right. We would have been right there. I would have had an audience come in. In fact, the audience you had outside in the hot sun.
They were hot. They had their fans. They could have came in
right there, and you would. That would all been. That would been.
And there were plenty of people. You could look right at them and be like, "Oh yeah, you getting paid? How much you getting paid to be there? How much are you getting paid to be there?" I know there's a lot of people, but it was just staged, kind of weird. It was, and I'm just like, I know, I loved it. I could have watched the BET Awards week. Just put it on every day this week and just just have it and be done. What? Why are you laughing?
Anyway,
no.
Anyway,
I apologize. I don't mean it. I know I don't mean it that way. And
anyway,
we don't have time.
Anyway, that's how I would do. I would have taped it all.
Yeah.
It would have been a special.
Yeah.
It would have been a big hit. I would have carried it all with showing some old ones back.
Yeah,
having the whole
that's what I mean.
The clips between, and then on the live show, the only people you would have saw, you would have had the host up. They would have came out to introduce it.
Yeah.
You can watch our special coming on BET on July 20-something.
Yeah.
And all the commercials could have been on there.
Terrence J, all those people that were there doing it. Yeah,
here's to give you a little bit of a taste. And Ashanti would have came out.
Yeah.
And she would have performed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the...
Check it out, y'all.
Had her.
4th of July weekend. Yeah. Check it out. So-and-so
one
weekend.
other person in between. I'll figure out who. And then, boom.
Yeah.
B2K pops up.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Ashanti.
Okay. Good.
Open it.
Ashanti performance was fantastic.
Who we needed a
B2K, fantastic. Amarie up there performing. And then Maya up there performing. All those, it was good to get all those people there.
I would have only had 2 of them. Just for that. And then the special.
Yeah.
Then you could have gave more time to the special. You could have reminisced, and they would have introduced it because that B2K reunion was great.
Or they could have saved that special until next year. Cut it in half. Just chop it in half. It doesn't have to be.
This year. There's plenty of programming time.
Chop it in. Well,
it could have came out in August.
Thank you, but I don't know how much programming time they really have because. Maybe if Tyler Perry produced the specials,
maybe Tyler Perry can produce the special. There
if he could say, you know what, title special. We need some more things on, some more variety or whatever.
Put the special on CBS. They had programming. This time they didn't show it on CBS. But in the past, they have showed it on every channel.
Exactly.
MTV had it.
It was on those other
you were
Nickelodeon VH1. They did have it on those. They had it everywhere but CBS.
You're a kid. I want to watch so and turn it on. You got bump, bump, bump.
They like, where's SpongeBob? Where's whoever? Where's Dora? It's like, oh, we ain't got time for that. Bum, bum, bum.
No, but the B2K reunion that was very smart.
Yes.
That was very clever. Marion's been doing this.
Yeah, it's good they together.
On his own, and it's good to see he's been doing this.
Get together tour.
With a bunch of fans. They've been doing well, playing in theaters, the 17,000 seat theater.
Work it out like the articulates.
Yep.
Get back together.
The minute they popped it up. The minute they popped up there, I thought, who is going to announce a tour tomorrow?
Right.
Because it would make sense right now. You got 4 guys there. We're in the revival reunion package. Mm-hmm. 90s are getting together, 2000s. Everyone's getting together. It's all kind of package tours. I thought they were wise. They would announce a tour. Right. And watch them on stage. I'm like, those 3 need Mario more than he needs to them. But the 4 of them together, we can sell a lot more tickets.
You're funny. Right.
Ticket sales.
Right.
And he's been doing that tour, the last 3 years with other people and all this stuff, all these other people like that. You can play
so it was good.
Songs, you can do your solo songs, do everything else, and all that. And guess what?
What?
They're about to announce a tour.
There you go.
Should have been announced Tuesday morning.
So this was
but that's another story.
Right.
Whoever announced the tour first gets the ticket sales. You get that early broadcast to warn. The ticket sales should have been announced. It should have been dropped right then.
But you know what? Good for them.
MC Live should have said, go to B2K tour tomorrow for information. Come on, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I would have did.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was good to see it. It was good to see it. It went a little too long.
I liked it.
Good to see Shantae was fantastic. She killed it. They should be that tour. That could be a tour.
It could be.
You could call it the one. There you go. Black Collectives. There you go.
Yeah, it depends on the getting all together, promotion, whole 9 yards.
That's
but
the tour.
there we go. Now, what about?
So there's that. Okay, so
how about
we had that.
The tributes.
And then we had all these tributes.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking 25th anniversary. And
I love those tributes.
Love about this. One thing I
every single one of them.
Love about BC.
However, too long, too many.
In the year, there's always been that way. Bringing old artists out, they sing with the young artists. I never forget when they have Monica come out and she's singing Silly with Denise Williams. They brought out girl groups. They brought out, in Vogue, and they sang with that. I was waiting for all of that.
Yeah, I
was waiting for it.
But I like that they tried to do something new.
Yeah,
they tried to do something different.
But that's what I was waiting to see. I was waiting to see it. But between all the tributes, you kind of had that.
Right.
You kind of had it.
I was happy for that.
But a couple things they did. Okay, you know what? Well, we're probably out of time, right? Let's talk about the tributes.
We are. So let's go.
Let's start right with Mariah Carey.
Yes.
Now, Mariah Carey
we had our
Mimi.
Out. Yeah.
She performs.
She did really well. Her set was beautiful. Her production was beautiful. She had a lot of male dancers. She had Anderson .Paak, her roommate Boo, out there playing the drums, and she sang her new song.
She sang her new song.
And then DJ Nice was there, and he did like a little medley of some of your hits so you could see him or hear him. Yeah.
Right. But she did it. She performed. And then she left the stage. And then like an hour and a half later.
Did she leave?
Before they gave the award. I'm like, is Mariah still in the building? Is she changing? Did she? I'm thinking.
That was a little weird.
People kept thinking, where's Mariah? People were like, she's probably backstage. No, Mariah's at the Ritz.
Yeah, she's
Mariah
like, I gotta go.
The building.
I have to go to the hotel. I gotta change. I gotta come back.
If you know the Peacock Theater, they have dressing rooms there. They even have dressing on the roof. With all the dancers.
Yeah, there's no
not
way.
enough room.
She went back to the hotel.
Mariah, there's a hotel right across the street. There's the Marriott right across the street. Mariah went to the Ritz.
Yeah, she did.
And changed. Mariah didn't change backstage.
I agree.
Mariah went to, it was just too long of a time.
Yeah.
And then they kept saying it. And coming up, Mariah Carey. And the truth, like, well, is she going to speak? Is she gonna, it was like an hour, maybe 2 hours later.
Yeah, and then
they kind of broke the flow. They did that last year.
Yeah, I don't know if it was planned that way. Or maybe during that morning or that day before, they said, you know what? She's like, oh, I'm going to have, after I perform, I'm going to have to change.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to whatever. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people said, we want to give the speech later in the day because she's going to have to change clothes after performing.
Right.
and you got to bring her out and all that.
Right.
That's my guess. But like an hour and a half, it was like a long time.
A long time.
Was it scratch out to keep the people watching, the lambs? Was it to keep the fans watching?
I don't know.
They did that last year too. They did Usher. Then they said, "Oh, we'll be back." They came back and presented some award. We're like, what about the tribute? You know,
yeah, it's
like,
really weird.
What
but
about, yeah.
She had Busta Rhymes came out and he gave the honor to her, and I think her speech was really great. And the thing she said that was so poignant and stood out to me, that was her
first award. Yep.
First BET award. Yep. And then she said, if that's going to be, might as well start with the diva, the ultimate icon. It's like, you go, girl.
Mariah knows how to give a speech and
remind
you so politely
who she is.
Yet to the point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to tell you politely that you should have, I didn't when she used to lose all the Grammys.
Yeah. Here's my picture. Yeah. Here's my resume.
Just remind me, like, she just basically said, I've never won.
Right.
Like, and I guess it's better to whip on the top, and whatever too. So that was her.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
That was great.
Yeah, but I always felt like, and I don't even mean it that way. In a way, the four of them kind of got shortchanged.
Yeah.
Because they were all together in this one little thing. And it was nice that they were all, awards and stuff, but the night should have been like Mariah's night. The night should have been like Jamie's night. The night should have been Kurt's night. Yeah.
And then one like humanitarian person. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. We don't need four.
I know.
It just why did we have four?
That's the only.
And they all had the same award. It wasn't like Okay, they used to call it the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now
that was my.
It's called the Ultimate Icon. But you gave all four the same.
That was one of my criticisms.
And the same thing. And to me, it should have been just two.
We have
no time for this.
And then maybe do the other two next year. It doesn't matter.
Next year.
Yeah.
So it was an anniversary. So then I start picking out why did you pick? Not why did you pick the four people, but.
Why were there four?
Two could have waited till the next year.
That's what I wondered. Yeah.
I haven't did all that map yet because
I couldn't figure it out
from the ceremony. But anyway,
yeah.
So that was that. Okay. Then let's go to Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Snoop Dogg's was really good.
Snoop Dogg. It was like he talked for like it was basically
he talked for 10 minutes and performed for like 8 minutes.
Yeah, each person was supposed to be 15 minutes.
Yeah, but each person had like 20.
Yeah, and it was like he performed.
Yeah.
And people performed for him.
Yeah.
And then we had
which I thought was great. And then he gave a speech.
Yeah, then he gave a speech.
They did the little package about him too,
yeah,
right?
They had the package.
Yeah.
And it was so late in the day by the time they did it
that I'm like, wait, what happened to Kirk? What happened to Awards of the Year?
That was interesting because somebody said, I think we're almost done because Snoop Dogg's up now. And I was like, no, Kirk Franklin is Kirk Franklin's still being honored. And it's
weird.
It's like, where is Jimmy Kimmel's mom to give us the stuff under the
or Cynthia to be that
or Conan to give me the
lunchbox under the chairs. Yeah,
it got a little long, and if you don't know the order, you're just like, what's wrong? What's happening here? So I think and he performed.
Yeah,
and he was the only one that to me had a little sense of old school with that performance.
Yeah,
because Charlie Wilson, my boy Charlie came out.
Yeah, Charlie Wilson.
Uncle Charlie came out, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to have he got one, and he did someone else came out.
Yeah,
and it was like it was a good performance, but at that point,
it
kind of took away
hard
from it.
It was kind of hard for them to keep the energy up or keep the momentum going, but it was still good show, still good still good show, still good performances, and I think Kevin did a good job, and then all the extra people that came out and helped introduce things. Wow, things were going on because like Carrie did her like sketch introduction, Keke Palmer did one, Diamond White did one for Medea, Tyler Perry came and he did a thing, so it helps keep it going a teeny bit, but I just feel like it could have been much. Okay, so now what about? We did Mariah's.
So we did Mariah's.
We talked about Snoop's.
Let's talk about Kurt's.
Yes.
Kurt's the very last one.
Yes.
I'm trying to think who presented it. I'm trying to even think who came out and introduced it. I don't even remember.
That's the sad part. I don't remember either.
So he got his. He came on stage.
It was T.I., right?
Was it T.I.?
I think it was T.I.
Okay.
Well, that's how. I don't even remember now.
Bad, yeah.
Anyway,
so he came and got his. He gave a great speech. He had a beautiful speech. He gave it out too, and then he performed. And had people come on stage with him.
Yes.
Because what they usually do, so when they come out, oh yeah, okay, what they do these tributes, and they don't tell you who's going to be tributing your
you get
songs.
surprised, right.
You get surprised. And Mariah had no one. No one came out and sang Mariah's songs.
Yeah, Mariah's like,
else, all that. Now,
Mariah's like, no.
That was,
I'm doing it myself.
But just this year, Mariah got an award for iHeart, and they had singers come out. So I think that's probably why they said no. Let's not have because singers came out at this thing a couple months ago, a month and a half ago. Let's just have Mariah perform.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And do her speech.
And then you don't want to have people be compared. You're setting person up for failure. Well, you're trying to sing Mariah Carey
song. That's exactly what happened at the iHeart. They
set that person up for criticism. So just have Mariah come out and sing her own song.
Right. Say, no, I approve.
So we have Mariah. Yeah. We had
Kurt did his.
Right.
And then he did his speech, and then he performed, and he was doing, he did his songs, everything else. And then and I thought the whole time, if he just bumps into Stomp, this place is going to
lose it. It was great.
And he broke into Stomp, and everybody was like, boom, some energy. We got back up.
I know, all of a sudden, like, woo.
You got up, everybody was dancing. Yeah. People were like, oh, I can wait a little bit later. I didn't call that car yet. Everybody was rocking into it. Everyone came out and all that. And the best of it all, because you know how I loved when people come back to help others, is that he invited Jamal from American Idol.
Oh, it was great. Jamal Roberts.
The winner of American Idol this year comes and performs with him. Right. And Jamal had mentioned, I got something cooking with Kurt, Frank. And I thought, this is fantastic because we saw Kurt at the finale. And, he's there. And here he is. And here comes Jamal. Jamal was singing. So people out there who had never watched American Idol got to see Jamal. That since there. I always make a comment how we don't get enough gospel in these award shows. Right. And these award shows are very heavy. Like all these categories are done off the air. There's never performers. And there you had Kurt and you had, this performance. Right. And I thought it was great. I thought the way he did it, the way he shut it down. It was, he got it going.
I thought it was good.
He got it going.
Yeah, it was closed out.
And that was tribute number 3.
Yeah, and my only comment on that was, it was the end of the night. It was one of those things where it's like, oh my gosh, when is it coming or what's going on?
When are we getting out of here?
Yeah. That's one thing. I was so happy that you had the presence of mind to set the DVR for the entire night. You're like, oh no, it's going to be something. So let's try to do something in case there's a carpet. Let's make sure we record the show, the live show. Let's make sure we record, the 8 o'clock, the Pacific Coast repeat. Let's do the Tyler Perry's Divorced Sister thing on in case it goes off. So good thing you recorded all of it or we would have missed some of it.
You would have missed everything.
Yeah, some of it from their regular things. Yeah.
I record everything probably in my house. Yeah. I record stuff till like 5 hours later.
Because it was scheduled for 3 hours and 30 minutes.
30 minutes. And it was 4 hours and 50 minutes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching it on the East Coast, you would have went to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
If you had... people were making jokes on social media, like, I went to woke up in BT. Like, what is happening here? Did I imagine this? Yeah. Did it really go off there and come back on? That's how long it was. Right. And it should have been planned. It should have been structured that way. Right. Okay. And then we had the 4th tribute, which I thought was the best tribute, in my opinion. Maybe just only based on who was there, how they presented, what came out, what happened, was the Jamie one.
Yeah, and I feel like that could have been just like the only one for the night.
The Jamie one was great. Of course, it's emotional because, as everybody knows, Jamie...
Right. He had medical issues.
Had a medical issue this year. He's back. He talked about, how watching it, how his family came, his daughters, his sister, everybody helped him. Right. And all that. And he was so, shocked at all the people that came out. And Stevie Wonder, first of all, when Stevie Wonder walks out, it's already like, oh my God, Stevie Wonder's in the building. Right. Stevie Wonder comes out to surprise him and present the award.
Oh, I know. It was so great.
You got Stevie. And then you have this tribute.
Who's who?
Coming out. And everyone.
Superstars.
Everyone came back. Ludacris is back to sing with him. Yeah. And, Ludacris is there. And you got T-Pain is there. And then the way they did, you blame the alcohol, they brought out, Dougie Fresh and my boy Teddy Riley. Yeah. The way they brought it out and the way they just, carried it on.
Babyface.
at the piano. Craig
Jennifer
Robinson
Hudson.
there. And then
Craig Robinson. I was like, oh
Hudson,
my God,
walks
yeah.
out that stage. And you know I always say it, every single podcast I mention.
And he is
any
so
type
emotional.
Of tribute person, Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, you need Jennifer Hudson. And
tribute person.
on the other side, you
Jennifer
need
Hudson and Keith Urban.
Yeah, Keith Urban and Chris Martin.
Yeah.
He can do it too.
Yeah.
On that other side.
You need Jennifer Hudson. Here she comes.
Oh my God, it was
and
so good.
And did she come to sing in memoriam? Did she come to... No, she came for the Jamie Foxx tribute. Because
yeah, it was
they
great.
were together in Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
And she came out... What was she... she came out and she just started...
Baby!
Yeah,
oh,
she just
baby.
started.
Night
and
day.
you're like, oh my God. You kind of forgot about it and she just walked out. And then they bring everybody out the end. And it's all guys and Jennifer. Here she's up there. You just like, oh my God.
It was really good.
Everybody was into it. Everybody was like, this is the way they did it because they modernized, the song. They kind of changed it around a little bit. All of a sudden you got, and then you have, it was just great the way they did it, the way they brought the dancers out. And it was like one thing, you didn't know what was going to happen.
I know.
And that's what a good tribute does. And that's
I like that. That was great.
They do those tributes to that artist has no clue who's coming.
Right.
They have no clue. And it worked.
Right.
It worked. I remember there was one, I won't say the artist's name. You could, and the artist is sitting there the whole time like, oh, wow.
Yeah, like, you?
Okay.
This?
And we had made a comment about that because that was the year Jamie.
Well, they have egos,
and
too.
Jamie jumped in on it. We're like, Jamie, what are you doing here?
I know.
Get off
I'm
the
like,
stage.
will you go?
So it's an old podcast. You go back and listen to it. But anyway, so it just worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see those tributes, they don't work.
Yeah.
I know I made a
couple
comments.
It was very emotional.
It was just great the way they did it.
Right.
He was emotional, everything else, and that was fantastic.
Right.
Then I think we have to wrap this up, right?
Yeah, we do.
2 things.
No, 3 things.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead for your 2.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to talk about also the other performances.
Okay, good.
There was
take that one.
Tiana Taylor. She did a performance. She has a new song out, I believe. I apologize for not looking up my notes for Tiana. But it was fantastic. It was a really, really great performance. And it was one of those things where it's like, I felt like they kind of did a disservice to her.
They did.
Because there were so many people, so many tributes.
And walking around. And the time they showed it,
there's so many performances. Everybody goes, oh, we got Jamie, we got Mariah, we got so-and-so, and now here's Tiana. And I feel like there should have been a lot more attention
to
her in a performance.
She had a full-on rocket spaceship. It was like
she
one of those
great.
war show things. She came out with the rope. One of those things that you want to see a counter. They come up.
Exactly.
And they did her a disservice with
and
that.
She had Taraji P. Henson up there as her person. They also had, was it Cowboy Cardi? Honestly, I don't. I think I might have went to the bathroom at that point. I can't remember now. But he did a performance, which, I'm sure was fantastic. I believe I missed it. And Glorilla.
Yeah.
She had a performance. And it's like all those sideline performances and extra performances they had in there were fantastic. And I feel like any other year, those performances would have been great. They would have been things all everybody was talking about and all that kind of stuff. But all everybody's talking about is the Jamie Foxx tribute.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's all they're talking about. That's why I feel like it was kind of like a disservice to all the other people during the night. And I don't know if any of the other artists kind of feel that way or if it was just me or... I don't know. I just feel like that could have been something. It
took away also the service to Tiana, but it also took away from Mariah Carey.
That's what I mean.
Mariah Carey has, 1920 number 1.
Yeah.
And you saw all these artists come out. You saw all these people come out. You saw this beautiful package.
Right.
You saw Jamie's speech. And then Mariah was a very short speech. I was very surprised her speech was short.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like...
her speech was probably of her choosing. It was kind of like
she got kind of shut down.
Mm-hmm.
Like her accomplishments were kind of like in a little note shell because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember somebody saying something on one of the social media saying, all these musical acts and so-and-so,
right.
and Mariah Carey gets nothing. So they made a comment about it, and it makes you wonder that. That was one of the things.
Right.
There was a lot of performances.
Yeah, there were plenty of performances.
And it also took away from people who were winning awards.
Yes.
People were winning awards, and
I
you're
agree.
like, hi, we're going to give out the so-and-so sponsored by Hair Award, and you're like, okay.
You're like, who?
We're going to get the so-and-so award,
right.
And then all these people, they promote their movies, promote their TV shows. They were all.
I have no problem with that because that's going to always happen.
I love they do that. They were kind of up in the shadows because it was kind of like there was so much going on. But So that's the thing you mentioned, the other performances?
The other performances, and then I was going to do the in memoriam, but you probably already did that. Go for it.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Leon Thomas. Leon Thomas won the Best New Artist. But man, okay, Leon Thomas has been around like 10 years.
Yeah,
First
so
of
cute
all.
though.
But was it he won the Best New Artist because he's finally hitting that mainstream? Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
Or was it because his record came out? Because I was like, what's he doing in the Best New Artist category? Yeah. But, I mean, we've been dealing with Leon for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. I'm happy that he got it. I'm happy that he performed. It was a great performance.
Right.
I'm happy that he was there. I'm happy that he made it because that's a different style of music that you can introduce. Because people say, and I always have my friends all the time, and I go, oh, I'm heading to BT and this song. Oh, I can't watch it. I don't like rap, so much rap. So no, there was a mixture. They had
something for everybody.
For everybody,
right?
And that's what I talk about. Showing different genres and make it and showing up and doing things like that too. So I was really happy that he won. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the in memoriam. Yeah. Now that's a very, very soft, sticky subject with me.
It always is.
It's always a sticky subject thing, and I always have something to say. And I always want to be very positive, and I hate to find mistakes or complaints and all that.
Let me tell you about what I liked.
What I liked about it was. Okay, and I know I always say everyone should be equal, everyone should be treated equally, and I don't like sometimes when they, in other award shows, they leave out, okay, this is all basic music, but other awards, when they leave out like a producer or a casting person, and it comes like one person's more important than the other person, and that's always my personal
I don't like
hang
that.
up,
right.
But it's going to happen. It's going to happen, so I need to get over the use it, I get to get over it, and just try to get through it, and watch it. But what happened was, this year, they decided to break it down into 3 segments.
3 different segments, yeah.
And I don't know.
And I think they did that because it's it's kind of like somber mood. If they had done it all right, it would have been 20 minutes, or probably the same as
I don't know
the 106 in Park, whatever. But I do like that they broke it down, but it wasn't as clear. It left people confused. I think because they started, people go, wait a minute, what about so-and-so?
It was very confusing.
What about what?
I'm one of those people. It was very confusing. And obviously they were watching the show, and I'm thinking, they really are going to do a tribute. And what they did like 10 people, and then they had a performer. Then another 10, a performer, another 10. But it was like an hour late. It was like so spaced out.
Okay, I like that they honored Angie Stone.
Yeah.
And they had Brittany...
They had Brittany Spencer, country artist.
Do a performance, do a tribute to her, because she's one of those, brilliant artists that has gone too soon. I did like that they did that Quincy Jones tribute, and they had, it was Lucky Day, New James, whatever, they sang The Secret Garden and stuff, and I was just like, that's it? That's all they're going to do?
Yeah, that's what I said.
But then I remembered that when Quincy first passed, they showed his documentary a couple of times. They did a couple of specials where he was like the focus of some of the specials they did. The Quincy documentary that Rashida did, all those ones, they had specials for him. So I'm not saying that that's an excuse or that gives that a pass, but I'm saying that he wasn't forgotten. They just didn't figure out how to do it as well as they could have, I feel.
Well?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I feel. Then I think what they could have done, but it was probably too hard, they had some people, I feel like, and I'm probably opening a whole different can of worms that we can go in later at some point, but I feel like there's some people, like, the guy I feel like some of those guys from the 70s, those Soul Train groups that you would see in the 70s, all those people around, that they're not quite getting their dues. Like Frankie Beverly, some people, I feel like they could do more for some of those people, and they didn't. And I know they probably didn't have a lot of time. They probably wasn't a lot.
We were there 4 hours and 50 minutes. What was another 20 minutes?
I know.
Another 20 minutes, another 20 minutes.
Yeah. But I think...
Where was El DeBarge? I'm checking out the date.
I feel like I would have had...
Where was El DeBarge?
I would have had more emphasis on some of the people we lost.
El has been out and all these social
and some of those people who might have been on the show, on the BET Awards in the past 25 years. Whether they might have performed, they might have been somewhere. I don't know. That was just one of the things I wanted to say about it. But then you go ahead and you close it out.
Yeah, well, they broke it down, and it just... They broke it down. And when they first broke it down, it was kind of like... It said in memoriam, and they started showing the pictures, and I get all emotional. And then I forgot who the first performer even was. And I was like, is that everybody?
Yeah, that's it. Like, that's all. Right.
I think the first tribute was the Quincy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the first one, the Quincy one. And they had what's his name from Sinners? That was good. They had Miles. They had Lucky Day. They had Luke James, who definitely does not get the recognition he deserves.
Yeah,
why
he needs. Why doesn't he have more? Right.
Chart. What are we doing wrong?
I know.
What are we doing?
Or why isn't he in more movies?
Well, he was on Broadway. He just finished a Broadway play.
All right.
Last year, he was on a play.
Okay, because I'm like, no offense to Jeremy Interest, no offense to those Top Gun Maverick boys, but where's Luke James? He could be doing a lot of stuff. We gotta look up his people.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm confused. Anyway.
Why can't he be in a movie somewhere, some killer movie dying at some point? Or, I don't know. Anyway. Let's hope he has something going on.
Let's hope he has something going on. I will be checking. Like I said, I'm checking dates and checking schedules. Anyway.
Yeah, you're checking dates.
So he was there. They did the tribute, but I'm just like... So I was like, really? And it's just...
No, come on.
Let me find a nice way to say it. Yeah. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. You sat up here and did a tribute. An in memoriam tribute, and you have not discussed. You not discussed Roberta Flack. We have not.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was trying to say. Flack. But you're saying it better than me.
We have not brought out Angie Stone.
Right.
We have not brought out. There's a bunch of, like you said, artists in the '70s that have passed away this year. It's been a really rough year.
Right.
You know, where are these people at? Where are they? There's actors that have passed away. Where are these people at? And I'm sitting there going, you can't be seriously.
Right.
And then you have these four. The guys come out. And they're there, and they're singing, Secret Garden. I wasn't expecting it, because the Secret Garden song by Quincy Jones, I'm not expecting to hear the 6 minutes and 35 seconds, and yes, I know that, version of it from the album.
Yeah.
And the people that perform that song, you have James Ingram, and you got Barry White.
Right.
It's James Ingram, Barry White, El DeBarge, and Al B. Shore, okay? Al B. Shore probably couldn't make it. His mom just passed away. He's probably still on the East Coast. El DeBarge has been there for all these tributes we need him. Where was El DeBarge?
Yeah, I know. There were a lot of people missing that could have been where they could have.
Jones.
I mean, the tribute was a B-. They probably could have given it a straight up A+++.
Yeah. Well, when Quincy Jones passed away, and he was being honored by different people, different shows.
Right.
Everybody was saying,
right,
we're waiting for BET.
Yeah.
BET
waiting.
Do the tribute
I know.
The way it should be done.
Right.
So when you see these guys come out, and you really have to know who they are, because they came out, people were like, who is that?
Yeah.
Is that Usher? No, that's not Johnny Gill.
Okay, I know they were trying to make it then, but
I know, yeah.
The announcer girl, what's her name?
People don't know Lucky Day. I remember because it was American.
Why didn't she announce? And to honor our late Quincy Jones, here is blah blah blah
because
blah blah.
You had no clue.
Because after she was done, they go,
then
give it up for so and so.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I couldn't quite hear what she said. There was something going on.
It's like, if you don't know, I'm probably like, I think that's Luke James. Oh, that is Luke James.
And I'm like, I guess I'll have to watch it back when I get home.
Yeah, because they're really not. You don't know the guy from Sinners. Is that the guy from Sinners? Oh, that is the guy from.
Exactly.
People are like, is that Sammy?
Yeah, that looks like so and so. Right.
Yeah, and then it's Secret Garden. Everyone knows that song. Like at the BET Awards, 9 out of 10 people know that song or know the song, and then Quincy's picture, already came up and all that, and you're like, is that it?
Right. You want there to be more.
Where's Tevin? Where's Tamia? I thought all the people that we named earlier.
Yeah, it would have been nice. And then it's still not even that for me.
Yeah, okay.
It was just like weird.
And then it just ended. And then I'm sitting there going, what about Dwayne Wiggins? What about... I started naming like 25
That's what
people.
I mean. That's what I mean.
And I think I made a joke to you or a comment, like, maybe there's a part 2.
You
like
did
the
say
joke that never really happens.
Right.
And then like an hour later, a part 2 came up.
Yeah.
They started in memoriam. It's like, are we repeating the in memoriam?
Yeah.
Or they started doing more people.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they started doing more people, then Audrey Day comes up.
Right.
They announced her. And I said, I wonder what she's going to do. Then they go, Audrey Day with the tribute to Roberta Flack.
Yeah. That was way out of like,
Also, are we so?
So I'm like, oh, so they do remember.
So we are doing Roberta Flack. So then Audrey Day comes out beautiful. She sounded great. She looked great.
Right.
She sang it. Another 6-7 pictures came up, and then it left again. So then now we're like, okay, so that's part 2.
Right.
Now we've seen them do it where they have did the people that have come up, and they used to do that, at the end, at the Grammys. For all the people we couldn't do, go to this website.
Right.
I thought maybe we're doing that again. But then later on, the last hour.
Yeah, you forget.
The last hour you forget. I checked social. People are getting angry now. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, where else too? And then next thing you know, it doesn't even introduce. It just says in memoriam. They started showing more pictures.
Yeah, and I think they probably went, you know what, we're so behind anyway. Let's just do it.
No, I think they planned it that way. I think they thought, let's make it memoriam. Let's plan it 3 different segments. Let's plan it that way, whatever, too. But they didn't tell you that. It just felt like we let people out. Oh, we forgot. Here they are. And it wasn't alphabetical order. It wasn't like by dates or anything.
Yeah, not by year. Not by
what? It wasn't by year.
Right.
And we know how they can add people and change it because they put Sly Stone in there.
Right.
They literally added him in.
Yeah, and I'm like, they can get Miles to like play something on the guitar for 5 seconds.
These
or
guys
they
can play impromptu.
Leon.
We've already went on. Yeah. We've already went on and on and on. What's the other 2 minutes? But they actually did that.
DJ Nice couldn't find Slide the Flaming
DJ
Stone.
Nice could have did it.
Yeah.
But I just thought they should have just did the package. Just did them all.
Yeah.
They did the past. And then they did it before. They did the whole package. The 1 year, they did the whole package, and they had each person come out. So 3 of them came out, and they sang.
Uh-huh.
They had El DeBarge come out, he did George Michael.
Yeah.
So-and-so came out, so-and-so came out. Just do it that way.
Yeah.
It would have been better.
Yeah.
Because Audrey was there performing. Those 3 guys, the 3 guys were, and then, so then they have Brittany Spencer, who no one knows who she is.
Right.
All of a sudden, it is these pictures. They end with Angie's picture.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she's just there.
Yeah.
On this platform.
Yeah. She's like, should I leave?
She's just
Am I
there,
done? I'm
standing
done,
on
right?
this platform.
Yeah.
And then they put the lights on her.
Yeah.
And then she just starts singing.
Yeah.
She's singing Angie's song. And everybody's, oh, okay.
Then I had to go back and look. Like, did her name pop up on screen on TV?
No one knew what was happening.
I don't know.
And she sang it, and then it seemed like it was like the extended 12-inch version of it. It went on forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it went on forever.
It didn't have to go on that long.
I don't know if it went on forever, and I don't want to say no disrespect because I love Angie to
death. That's what I mean.
Did they decide to do the 6-minute version of this song? Because they don't do the 3-minute Secret Girl?
In an all-midi crowd, it was like the show was, we got a Subway sandwich, and we're gonna pile it up with everything. You put pickles, you put
something.
I want all the meats. I want everything on that thing. And so what I would like to say, just like to wrap it up, it was a fantastic show. I loved the show, but it was too long.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's taking grades off of it for me. Like, that show would have been an A++, but I'm giving it a C because it's too long. If you turn in a paper, the paper's supposed to be 400 words. If you turn in 1,000 words, you're gonna get some grades down.
But here it is. Back to that tribute.
It's got to be your last thought.
It's Brittany Spencer, and then the whole time she was singing, everybody was like, "Who is that? What's going on?"
Is that Angie? That's Angie.
No disrespect to Brittany Spencer. She sounded great. She looked great. But all I could think about was an hour and a half before that, Lettucey was on that stage.
Yes, Lettucey. Oh my God, how did I forget her?
Was on that stage, singing her song.
Yeah, her black
looking
woman.
Like royalty.
Yeah, I forgot about her.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing head to toe, looking. And all I thought about, Lettucey is in this building. She could do these other tributes that you haven't done.
Yeah.
You left out people. This one had no clue of part 3 was coming.
That was coming. You didn't know Audrey was coming at that point.
Didn't know at that point.
Yeah,
and I thought,
right.
You let Lettucey leave this building?
Right.
Maybe she's still at the Marriott. Can we get her back?
Yeah.
She can impromptu.
I agree.
Leon can play it.
Yeah.
DJ Nice can DJ it.
Yeah, spin it, mix it.
Lettucey can sing off the fly. She can do the people that you, in a little melody of the people you forgot.
Yeah, I know.
This could still work. We can still save this.
Right.
There's time. And I thought of that. I thought, wow, I thought. And then that performance also got overshadowed.
Right.
You would have forgotten.
That's what I mean. I feel like everything got overshadowed. She looked good. You got a disservice to everybody.
Her song, everything else. And I thought, there you go.
Yep.
There you go. So that's what I would recommend. If they're going to do the tribute.
Let's do one thing that you'd like to see next year. Just say just one. Shorter. I know you have 1,000.
Shorter show.
Yeah, a lot shorter.
And I love the show.
2 people. Focus on 2 people. Especially if there's a year where we lose a big, huge music icon like Quincy or like somebody. You can only do 2 people.
Or make it 4. Okay, it's 3.5 hours. Make it 4 hours. Just make it 4 hours.
And be done.
So when you go over, you'll be covered. But 4 hours and 50 minutes.
I know.
And people turned it off and then watched it back. And missing stuff.
And then I make jokes. I'm like, is it still on?
Yeah.
Is it whatever? And there was one point where you were like, I can't remember, you checked your phone, you checked something, and then I can't remember what it was. I was like, wait a minute, where's Kurt?
People, it's like, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. I would definitely say, just make it 4 hours.
Yeah.
You have a half an hour to play around with. Make it 4 hours.
Make it too short.
These are the things,
and
introductions.
Consider the amount. I know that some of these artists have these big egos, these big productions, what they have in mind. Make them shorter.
Yeah, you're going to have
Make them shorter. You got 2 minutes.
Which is sad that you have to do that.
You got 2 minutes for you to get all your stage set up. 2 minutes for your performance. I'm not talking about the tribute people. I'm talking about the people who performed in between done.
Or the rotating stage. Just go. Have that person sing. Turn around. Have her turn around. Have her sing. Turn around. Sing.
I agree with that.
The first 5 minutes of the Grammys is like boom. And then come out.
But all the performances were great. All the performances were great. I think everything was fine. But again, too short. That's my thing too. Make it shorter.
Make it shorter.
Okay.
Anyway, and speaking of shorter, if you're still listening to this podcast, we thank you.
Yes.
We thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And if you need to find more of us on social media, you can find me at Belinda's LA Music.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter, same address. I'm on Instagram. Or you can find us at TV Music Network.
Yeah.
Or on any of our podcasts.
Find me on TV Music Network. You can look at our podcast, which is on Apple, iHeart, anywhere you get your regular podcast.
Yep.
Belinda, where can people find you?
I just said where I can be found.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said Belinda's LA Music.
Okay. And TV Music Network.
Instagram, and on Twitter. And on... And
TV you did Network. Say that. Okay.
Yes, I did.
And then... sorry. And then
people can find me.
Yeah, might be as long as the awards. And then you can find me on social media too. Look for me at TV Music Network. Look for me at TVMusicNetwork.com, where I have a lot of things going on, and that's about it.
You're not saying your other socials?
I'm not as social as I could be, but you can find me at Phyllis Thomas on Instagrams.
Alrighty, and closing us out today, we have our original song. We have our good friends, John Morgan and Dave Fimiak. We have a beautiful song that's going to close us out today, and it is called Eden.
Yes, thank you a lot, guys, for it.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Stay safe, stay cool.
Yes, stay safe. Have a good one.
And have a good one. And watch the BET Awards.
Yeah.
BET.